Hello, let's talk about the logarithms test review. So I'm going to do one problem in each section. So this test, you have a test on Monday. So this test review is due on Monday. And it's optional, so I'm not going to require it for you to do, but it can replace any zero you have for an assignment, or it could be extra credit. Okay, so we're going to write in logarithmic form. So let's look at logarithmic form. Logarithmic form looks like this. Log base b of a is equal to e. That's the exponent. So let's put this first one in logarithmic form. You're going to do log base 6, right? So this guy, change his size to a smaller number, and then switch these. So this is going to become a 36, and that equals 2. All right, so all of them look like that. You just switch them around like that. All right, now what if we want to evaluate a logarithm? You're going to use change of base. The change of base formula says if you have log base b of a in your calculator, it's the same as log of a divided by the log of b. So let's go and see what we can get with that. All right, so I've got all these little dots. All right, I can't make the little square go away. But anyway, here we go. So let's do number 36. So you're going to get log of 64 in your calculator divided by log of 2. If you put it in your calculator correctly, you should get the number 6 to come out. And that's all you do with that. On number 38, you just really have to put that into your calculator by itself. And the answer's on the last page, so you can check that. But you don't have to do any kind of change of base for 38. All right, let's look at the next set of problems. Now, these are based on all of these properties that we talked about over this last week. So we've had them on the board all week, but you're going to need to know how to use them. So I would suggest you study those. All right, let's go on and look at writing them out as a single logarithm. Okay, so I'm going to do one of them. Let's pick a different color. All right, so we've got, let's do number 44. So these two are being added. So if they're being added, I'm going to multiply those numbers together. So it's going to be log of 8 times 3. So that's equal to the log of 24. All right. So again, the answers are at the back of the on the end of this file, so you can check the rest of them with your after you practice them. All right, now this one wants us to expand them, so we're going to make them all in expanded form. So these are the expanded forms right here. Okay, so the first one we're going to do looks like they're being raised to exponents. So when it's being raised to an exponent, we're going to take that exponent and put it in front of the log. So let's try that. We've got 2 times the log base 4 of x. That's this part right here. All right, and then we're going to multiply it. So if we're multiplying x squared and y cubed, we're going to add 3 log base 4 of y. All right, so we use two properties where we multiply and then we raise the exponents. When you have an exponent, they go and become in front of them. And then the multiplication is done with the addition. All right, so I've got you got some more to practice on there. All right, let's try 53. Now, this was the latest stuff that we did. So we've got 4 to the x is equal to 27. So we're solving an exponential. In order to do that, you can take the logarithm of both sides. So I'm going to add a page. 4 to the x is equal to 27. So you're going to take the log of 4 to the x is equal to the log of 27. And then we're going to use the properties that we learned. So remember, this x is going to go in front. So it's going to be x times the log of 4 is equal to the log of 27. Now remember, log of 4 and log of 27 are just numbers. So let's divide by the log of 4. Divide by the log of 4. These will cancel out because they're the same number. So we get x is equal to whatever that is when you put that in your calculator. I'm going to go ahead and calculate them. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, my calculator got 2.377. 2.377. So try to go out 3 decimal places. If you can go out one more, it's even better. 2.3774 would be your answer. Let's do another one. All right, let's say we've got one that's a little more challenging. Let's try number 55. So 7 to the x minus 3 is equal to 25. So I'm going to go and say 7 to the x minus 3 is equal to 25. All right, take the log of both sides. Take the log of 25. Now we're going to go and use our properties. So this guy goes in front. So we've got x minus 3 times the log of 7 is equal to the log of 25. We're going to divide both sides by the log of 7 to get that away from the x. And now we're going to go and calculate, because these guys are going to cancel out, and we got x minus 3 is equal to whatever that is. So I'm going to pause and calculate that. Okay, so I got 1.65417. So I just rounded it to a 2 at the end. So now to solve for x, we just add 3. And so when we're all said and done, x is equal to 4.6542. All right, so go ahead and finish up the rest of those problems, and then the answers are going to be on the very last page for you. So you can find them and check them before you take your test on Monday. All right, have a great day.